Wednesday, April the 18th, 2018. I'm down in Kent, close to the North Downs, about to undertake SWC Free Walk 253, Hollingbourne Circular via the Hucking estate. Got an absolutely cracking day today, probably the best of the year thus far. As you can see, not a cloud in the sky, around about low 20s degrees C, and just couldn't miss this opportunity. So, got about 10.5 miles of walking to do today, not much really, shame. Bit longer, 12 miler, 13 miles would have been ideal. It's 12:30, about 4.5 hours of walking, interspersed with a section that unfortunately goes next to the A20. It's going to be a nightmare crossing that, I should imagine. Anyway, press on. They come out the station and you do not take this path down the station approach. Do take this unsigned path just behind the station building. Now, reading the comments section of this walk, someone has advertised that there's a planning notice afoot that's going to reroute this little path. It'll make the walk easier, but I can't see any planning notice to film for you, so just have to go by the comments section on the walk notes page. Text refers to an awkward style. This is it. Don't see the point of it actually, but do a right here. Now, it's quite amazing what a few days makes, eh? What was a potentially boggy quagmire about a week ago, it's now drying out rapidly into desert-like conditions. Well, strangely, here's a copy of the notice that I think the writer was referring to. There's the important details there, in bold. Don't need to go through all of it, but suffice to know that there's going to be a diversion here soon, potentially. Examples of the notice here as we're about to cross the track, and this is a classic example of what I was on about at Kelvedon. Network Rail need to be stopped from closing such crossings. Get onto your MP. So, don't take this path, the obvious one, across the field. Take this grassy path down the left hand side though. Yeah, away from the sun it's still pretty slippy and muddy underfoot. Crossing our first stream of the day. Onward journey from the bottom corner of the field is half right towards those trees in the distance. Passing this outcrop of trees on your right, looking back from whence we've come. First shot of the downs. That's our onward journey through that gap there. Hamlet of Broad Street in the distance. Bit of a breeze today, hopefully that won't come through on the recording. Text refers to a footpath marker in amongst a clump of trees, but I can't see one. I'm assuming this is our right direction though. Well, if I'd have waited another 30 seconds, I'd have seen this. So there she blows. And I was right. And you don't go left here. Could imagine this field would have been challenging a couple of weeks ago when it was muddy. Not so today, thankfully. The obvious path ahead. Wonderful backdrop. Farmer out in his tractor. Views around Broad Street, which I'm rapidly approaching. The old rape's just coming into flower. Soon be that pungent smell, or delightful smell, whichever way you view it. I notice the old pollen count's up today as well. Amazing, isn't it? Get a bit of weather, the old pollen sufferers suffer. An example of the gate being too small, certainly the back of it anyway, just about enough room for me and my bag. Stood on the Pilgrim's Way in the hamlet of Broad Street, and below me there's a first swallow. Yep, I need to double check it's a swallow and not a martin, but it certainly had a longer tail. Amazing. What's today? The 18th of April. Tad late as you'd expect, but first swallow of the season. Yeah, indeed it is a swallow. Wonderful. Doesn't make... two of them, so summer's definitely arrived. Yeah, the old cow parsley's just beginning to sprout, but a couple more weeks. It's going to be, as the text says, a bit awkward, this footpath. Certainly no attempt made to keep it clear. This particular stile is in a very perilous state, with the top step being very wobbly, liable to be getting somebody into trouble and the council sued. It's just stood next to this pylon. For me, this is sheep country and not cattle. The old lambs are growing up quickly. Teenagers now already. So over the stile, cross the lane and come through another kissing gate. Onward journeys right, almost parallel to the lane. Very pleasant clusters of another yellow flower here. Bell-like heads. Wonderful views to the left as we ascend. Buzzard somewhere in the background, along with a little bit of jet noise. Chiff-chaffs, blackcaps. Very briefly on the North Downs Way. Now entering the Woodland Trust's Hucking estate. Look like a relatively new plantation. Pheasant there skulking away. Thought I was going to walk straight by him. Either that or it's sitting on eggs. It's a male, so I wouldn't have thought so. Still creeping, just like grasshopper on the rice paper. Both Asiatic. Damn right. After that tale I told the other day of 12 sheep getting massacred over near us in Hertfordshire, much had 'em. Outrageous. Some people have got no common sense. Sheep taking a break from the sun under the gorse. Wonderful up here, away from it all. As a youngster there, somehow got separated into the wrong field from its father by the looks of it. And it won't go under the gate. There's plenty of room for it to go under the gate, but it won't. It's trying to get through the bars. There's the kissing gate, it's trying to get through that and it can't. And I don't want to intervene. Go on under. Stupid thing, why won't you creep down? Oh well. Currently following the Woodland Trust's landscape trail. Just over onto my right, some wooden sculptures. Not a great fan of all this art, as I've mentioned in the past, but got to cater for everybody, I suppose. Let's go and have a look. It's supposed to depict some wild boar. Don't know if you'll be able to read this, but that's what it's about. Plenty of those in Kent apparently, but I've never seen one, thankfully. I mean, if they're life size, crikey, wouldn't want to encounter one of those either. Good to see some young saplings protected here. Chiff Chaff busy singing in the background there. In fact, both of our summer visitors are busy singing. Blackcap as well somewhere. The bluebells are out, so summer's definitely falling into place now. Swallows, peacock butterflies and the bluebells. Hopefully all that nasty weather we've recently had is now behind us. Ought to be, we are in mid-April. Celandines, I believe. There's that wonderful white flower. Don't think it's Ransom's. Certainly not Humming. Maybe somebody can correct me. A very newly constructed bench here. It's a tad early for my respite at the moment. But there's a great age, 97. Yeah, you can see it hasn't been put in too long ago. Pleasant enough views down the valley. Some buzzards mewing over there. Stopped now, but there were when I was ascending. Approaching Hucking Church. Large OS map here, or County Council map of Hucking. Neighbourhood watch team. Back of the church. See if I can get some better shots. There you go, St. Margaret's Hucking. Still in use. I've got the sun full at me, so can't get any decent shots at any height. Thankfully, as with Kelvedon, to which this is not dissimilar, I can get in it. Amazing little place. I've written an article or feature yesterday in a Countryman magazine, great favourite of mine that a lot of churches now are removing the pews and having pew sales. Such is the modern age that the pews are coming out and making way for chairs. Obviously the chairs can be moved easily and the floor space adapted for other modern uses like amateur dramatics apparently. Wonderful little room to the side. Nice frieze over there. 1993. Then looking back from the pulpit, very plain and simple. Not even any dignitaries mentioned on the floor or on the walls. Wonderful organ. And as you can see, there's an example of what I mean, the old chairs. Bit of modernity there, just below the bell tower. With its ladder. So there you have it, Hucking Church, St. Margaret's. Steep hill then, 1 in 10 as I still know them. Distant views there over on the right of the Isle of Grain. .16 kilometres away by all accounts, about 10 mile, same distance as this walk. Oh dear, focus has got caught on the nearer item. An interesting plant here that the bees seem to love. It's just amazing really how everything suddenly come to life. After being a quagmire and a nightmare a couple of days ago, everything's just suddenly summer-like. Brilliant. Another bench dedication. Odd one that. Artwork here called the Tranche Axe. Just there. So in this top left hand corner of the field, ignore that footpath and gate over there leading into the lane, but take this one between the wood and the hedge on its right. Good example of a black cap over there. Hope that plane's not droning it out. So as I said, the bluebells are out. Difficult to get a very good spread in here because of the way they're growing, but they are out there. So here we have it, bluebells everywhere, lovely. Quite amazing though, as I said earlier, how everything's suddenly transformed. Nature knows. Very pleasant section of woodland walking here, away from the hottest part of the day. Not that it's that hot, I mean, you know, we're just not used to it at the minute. The thing about the Woodland Trust is you can always find a bench, but I'm still not ready to respite. Onward journey's right here. We're now walking through Smokes Wood on the map. Very nice it is as well. Still a few relics of the distant winter, it seems. A couple of days of this warm sunshine now and that'll soon be gone. And then they'll be putting drought orders out. My goodness. Woodland Trust are pretty famous for this kind of thing. Dedications to benefactors. But I'm not quite sure that the English works. Certainly doesn't in my book. Great in the background. His song has died down a bit now. So now we come to the living log, which is basically a massive bug and bee hotel by the looks of it. Opposite that wooden teepee there is a bench which I'm going to make use of. Have a quick pit stop. Sit on this bench dedicated by this lady that loved nature, particularly trees. So she's certainly on the same wavelength as me. So let's take a little pause here and enjoy what she's dedicated to us. Okay, pleasant enough little respite there. While I was having it, I noticed a blue tit with what we used to call a fairy, one of those dandelion seeds floating around in its mouth, taking it up there into its nest. Wonderful. There's another one just as we enter Bolton Wood. Still following the landscape trail. Still quite immature though, this wood, I feel. Got a sort of man-made feel about it for some reason. There is a fourth artwork over there on my right, which can be seen, but I'm not going to bother with it, seeing as I'm not a brilliant fan of them. Our onward journey thus. Straight ahead. The fourth artwork is called the Shepherd, apparently. Very appropriate for around here. Of saplings there, and up in the sky a buzzard hovering over. Oh, I lost him. Oh well. Now rejoining the North Downs way, and that shepherd must be at the viewpoint, so in some respects it's a shame I didn't go and film it. The potentially muddy byway is still quite muddy, but as I say, the sun and the wind have done their job today and dried it out a degree. Okay, information panel about the Hucking estate. As we now rejoin the North Downs way, and I'm pretty sure I've walked this before in times gone past. Perhaps coming up that hill on the North Downs way. Oh, wonderful day. Okay, yeah, I've been here before. I remember filming this in the past, but it was probably a much colder, windier day then. It's quite breezy today, but pleasantly so. Wonderful vista. Onward journey there's along the top of the ridge. I do believe that's Leeds Castle over there in the distance. Three kilometres hence. And you can just about hear the traffic drone that I've got to contend with later. It's going to be a nightmare getting across that road, I reckon. Let's see. Because I'll be hitting it about rush hour as well, that's the problem. Wonderful. Looks like I'm stood on what was a gun emplacement at one time. Good place to have it with that view. Walking around the back of the depression known as Eden's Hole. There's the Dirty Habit pub, Hollingbourne, which is the suggested lunchtime stop. An example of the menus. Information panel just outside the pub. Chalkland and chestnuts. Interesting combination. Although it wasn't on the woodland floor, I wonder if that's the plant I saw earlier. Yellow archangel. It would indicate the presence of an ancient forest, even though it's not forested now. Now I wonder. A section of North Downs Way I've done before. It was in the autumn, about 2013 I think, because they were cutting the corn at the time. But in any case, we're going right here, again, a section I've walked previously. There we have it. Distant views back to the downs. Hollingbourne Church, I believe. Let me just check that, it might not be Hollingbourne. Yes, it is. Now entering Hollingbourne Meadows. Pretty clear what you can and can't do here. Should be more of it. Wonder where the railway line ran. Lots of memorial trees down here. Good idea. Okay, final views of the North Downs, which don't look dissimilar from this angle to the hills over at Harlington. Now going through this gate to enter the Leeds Castle estate, and already you can hear the busy, it's either the M20 or the A20, I'm not sure which. There they are, Whitethorn, or the May is definitely out. Wonderful views back along the ridge, some of which I walked earlier. Not this section here on the right though. Another very pleasant section of woodland walking, but whereas the other woods have been carpeted with bluebells, these are carpeted with that white flower I believe to be ransoms, but I might be wrong. It's a white star-shaped flower, there you go. Wonderful mixed wood, spoilt only by the hum of traffic. Walking through a field of rape alongside HS1, just about to approach the dodgy bit, getting across the A20 there. My goodness, this is bad, you know. If this is a sign of our future footpath walking, bad news. HS2 is going to have the same effect. Waste of money thing that is. So getting across the A20, pretty dicey. It's a shame this walk has to go that way, but that's the way it is. It is almost peak hour as well, 4:45. So obviously it can't get much worse than I've got it. So here we go, into the grounds of Leeds Castle once again. So 5 o'clock, just reached Leeds Castle. The gatehouse. Information panel about Leeds Castle, which is easy enough to Google. Another bit of art, this one depicting a dragonfly. Looking back at the castle, and beyond it the downs. What a wonderful setting. Many concerts get held here, I know that much. Firework displays, all that sort of stuff. Interesting flag they got flying. Wonder what that's all about. Looks like the large cedar tree referred to in the text is probably not as large as it once was. Great big chunks been taken off the top there. Lovely. Final view of the castle. Good to know. 27 years old, 28 actually. About what, 30, 40 feet tall, but clearly still young. Great idea though. Do ring the bell, because I've just walked across there and it works, i.e. they hold fire. Okay, having got across the busy A20 again, I'm now walking along the edge of the wood for the final section into Hollingbourne. And it does smell a bit garlicky in here, even though there's no white flowers. Tree down here. Bit awkward to get past. Now crossing over the M20 and then HS1. Passing the rear of the first of two possible tea time stops. Some idea of the menu here. The sugar loaves being the other one. Okay, here we are. 10.67 miles later, and incredibly 5 hours and 10 minutes. God, I was slow today. Didn't have much energy either, must be the sun. Anyway, not to worry, it's not a race, unlike Sunday's marathon. But that was a very pleasant walk. Good to get out again on the downs, and more importantly, it's good to have this great weather back. No qualms about the instructions, they were good, all worked well. So all in all, highly recommend that walk. Thank you, Sean, I believe is the author.